Are cool winter burns helping the environment, or are they damaging the environment? My name is Andrew Mitchell. I'm a professional ecologist. When I was walking over Black Mountain in Canberra, I noticed that there was no undergrowth in the forest. Now, the forest burned about a year ago, 15 months ago, so there's been a full year with the summer and lots of rain, and still there's no undergrowth. So that's an ecological mystery. A bare understory in a forest is not ideal, as the ground is unprotected and can wash away in rainstorms. You can get nutrient loss if only the ash on the surface is washed away. Also, there's not much biodiversity value in forests that have bare understories, because most of the plant species diversity is in the understory. Before the fuel reduction fire, there would have been a grassy understory, and that grassy understory would have contained a diversity of shrubs, maybe 20 species. Canberra has had some catastrophic bushfires, so they do fuel reduction burns on a routine basis. Usually they burn a section that is surrounded by fire trails, and that should stop great big uncontained wildfires from burning well into the city. Canberra is also the bush capital and has dozens of nature reserves. The people of Canberra really treasure the biodiversity of all the hills and nature reserves. I have two ideas as to why the ground cover is not recovering. Firstly, there are too many trees. So originally Canberra was sheep country, and the settlers cut down every tree they could. And since Canberra has been settled, we have suppressed the fires, and there's been an enormous regeneration of trees. Now, these trees are not mature, and in fact the forests are probably still in their thinning phase. During the thinning phase, you will not get very many ground cover species. It's simply too competitive. There are too many trees, too many young, vigorous trees competing, and they're cutting out the light and using all the moisture and nutrients, and that's not leaving much for the ground covers. Soil moisture levels during controlled burns should be fairly high, because Canberra has a steady rainfall, the same amount every month of the year, which is about 60 millimetres. And during winter, when it's cold, the evaporation rate is really low, so the soils tend to accumulate lots of moisture. But plants don't grow because it's too cold. However, looking out my window, I can see that the lawns are growing, the frosts have finished, so it's warm enough for growth, and yet the ground covers on Black Mountain are not recovering. The second working idea is that the timing of the fires is very bad with respect to ground cover species. Ground cover species might be reserving their energy and producing buds for the spring growth spurt, and then a fire comes along, particularly in late winter, and it burns up all those buds, so there's no growth spurt in the following year. Canberra also has El Nino and La Nina years, with La Nina years being wet and El Nino years being dry, and the ground cover can completely disappear. It can be eaten out by kangaroos, so maybe the plants are just getting ready for the next drought and putting their energy into going dormant rather than growth. In conclusion, there's definitely been a regeneration failure on Black Mountain. We're left with a burn forest that's essentially a monoculture of tree species and almost no ground cover. This is bad for biodiversity. There's very few animals in the burned area, and this is a very interesting subject for ecological research, so I'm hoping that somebody undertakes this research and determines whether control burns are good for biodiversity or bad for biodiversity.